Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? Welcome to my TikTok clip series. I hope you all enjoy. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you get anything from my work, an epiphany, a connected dot, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to create, paint tips, please support me in this channel. All the information is at the bottom of the description. Allykat211 is my website. There you can see all my artwork, pyramids, lots of epoxy stuff and creations, gem skulls and floral skulls. I do a lot of different things, so check my artwork out. And if you like anything that you see, please email me. I do sell stuff. Also, if you would like to support the channel in another way, 3D memberships is the only tier that I have. And guess what? You get free entries into my raffles. I give away pieces of artwork. Someone won a pyramid, a skull. Who knows what's going to be next? So you get a free entry if you become a member, and you also get channel member only content. So far, I've been doing collective oracle card readings for all the members collectively, not each individual. Join the beautiful community with lives that I do. I go live on Tuesday, normally, and Fridays, Friday Night Live, and Craft and Sip Tuesdays. And we have a lot of fun. I have a large community of amazing, beautiful souls who contribute to the beautifulness of this channel. It's about unity. I'm just a conduit of source, and they're also. So we're here helping so many people heal and just self-express authentically. Most of these TikToks are little clips. So I hope that you guys enjoy. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, enjoy, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you for all your love, your abundance. Light the path forward. Bye for now.
Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I am currently reading chapter 15, The Voice of Isis, World Chains, and this is something I would love to share with you from this book. It's intense. Just as a man's body is the lowest expression of his sevenfold constitution, so is each visible planet, but the lowest, densest aspect of a sevenfold chain, called by occultists a world chain. A world chain is composed of 7 globes of differing states of matter and consciousness, all existing at the same time and all interpenetrating. The globes of any one chain must not be identified with the visible planets, for only one globe of each chain is visible. Each physically visible planet being the physical globe of its own chain, just as the Earth is the physical globe of the Earth chain. The other 6 globes of each chain arc compose of finer and more etherical states of matter to which our physical senses do not respond, densities and dimensions. They are invisible and hence to us apparently don't exist. The states of density, 5 density, 5th density, we can't see it. In its decent involution into physical manifestation, life appears successfully on each of the 7 globes during one day period called a round. Each of such days, periods, or rounds being required to complete the cycle of manifestation. Involution, turning point, evolution. Our Earth, as the now visible representative of its superior fellow globes, has to live, as have the others, through the 7 rounds. During the first 3, it forms and consolidates. During the 4th, our present round, it settles and hardens. During the last 3, it gradually returns to its etherical form in its spiritualized, so to say. It may appear as though the evolving lives stepped from globe to globe on the chain, but in reality, they merely evolved into new states of matter and consciousness. A new globe or plane of consciousness manifests when the consciousness evolved in the preceding round can no longer express itself on the old globe. We're in it now, guys. In passing from globe to globe on a new principle is developed on each. Man can penetrate into the consciousness of the states through which he has passed, but cannot penetrate into the realms that embody principles which he has not yet evolved. 5D, New Earth. As man evolves, his consciousness is born into a new globe or a state of consciousness. Literally born into a new world which did not exist before him, where all the familiar things of his daily life and of nature appear in a new and hereto unsuspected light. This is due to an expansion of consciousness happening right now, which enables him to respond to the vibrations of a higher globe, enabling him to grasp deeper meaning and understand teachings which he formerly regarded as mere vagaries of unbalanced minds or mystical word pictures of no practical value. Cycles and epochs depend upon consciousness. We are not here for the first time. The cycles return because we come back into conscious existence. Cycles are measured by the consciousness of humanity and not by nature. It is because we are the same people as in each past epoch that these events occur to us. This is now. Now. We're doing this now. It is going to be a very slow evolution into this new consciousness. The caveat being, the small portion of us that are already living in 5D consciousness, still needs to wait for the en masse of humanity to bridge from 5 to 3 to get to 4. Hold strong. We're going to get there. It's going to be a process. As things are unfolding for many of us, we have to be patient and wait for the people that are still over here on their 3D bridge. The bridge is kind of going up. Most of us are already up here, and we need the bridge to come down. And there's not enough of us to do this, so they can walk an easy path to 4. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths. Check out my YouTube channel where I read the whole chapter from this amazing book, Allykat211.com. Light the path forward, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I want to read something to you, and it's from the Curtis books, The God Man. And wow. The object of physical existence is still one of the greatest mysteries for most of humanity, even in these days of great scientific enlightenment. But it is still a mystery only because the attention of the most progressive minds of the world has been forced on material things, problems and aims in the world outside of the self, instead of being focused within, to find out what the self really is and its object in manifesting in physical world. I'm going to skip around here. The fundamental concept for us all to realize and firmly establish in our minds is that we are essentially spiritual beings here and now, as much so as we will ever be, that we have nothing to do with earth conditions, except when we come down from our heavenly home to manifest for a short year or years in this world of matter. But when we are once incarnated in these bodies of flesh, we so lose the memory of our heavenly home and who we really are, that we often manifest so little of our real or divine self, or I am presence, that we seem to be but mortals instead of immortals, and seem to be limited to the functions of the bodily organism in which we find ourselves. This feeling arises because of our lack of proper training and teaching as to the difference between the human personality and the real self, which is striving to find expression through it. Most persons have, therefore, never really conceived of the fact that the real self of us is an individualized ray of the divine, and therefore necessarily is made in the image and after the likeness of God, or the sevenfold Elohim, an actual emanation from a particle of the Godhead that has been consciously projected from himself for the purpose of manifesting himself in individuality in the worlds of matter and form. Since we are his direct emanations, we naturally contain all the potencies and powers of the Godhead, such as the God consciousness to grasp and understand the truth, which shall make us free from the bonds of ignorance and illusion, the divine will to manifest that truth, the divine love to cherish and bring it forth, and the divine life to vitalize and establish it as a living power in our lives. I'm going to be reading the full entire chapter of this brilliant piece of work. This literature is fantastic. And I read a lot of their books, and it's on my channel, Allykat Creations on YouTube. Allykat211 on YouTube. I'm tired, guys. But I'm reading this right now, and it's profound, and it's what is actually happening to many of us right now. We're coming to this realization. This is 5D stuff. Unity consciousness, knowing your real self, getting into that love frequency. This is what we are trying to strive for. And the bridge is we're here in 3. Here's 4. The bridge is up, but most of us are trying to tilt that bridge down so we can walk over to 5. But we need everybody to do it. The bridge doesn't drop until everybody starts joining in on the fest of enlightenment. So come join me. I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful day. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder. Be the lighthouse. Seize your truths and light the path forward. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? Today I'm going to read a little portion of Inner Radiance, as in the days of Noah. And this passage is hitting on what is happening in our paradigm in reality right in the now moment. Everything in the universe finds expression in rhythmic waves of cyclic expression, periods of outgoing into manifestation and indrawal into obscuration and rest. History, therefore, ever tends to repeat itself in greater or lesser cycles. And we're going through both of these cycles right now. Nations, peoples, and races tend to pass through similar conditions, especially toward the close of their greater and lesser cycles. And just as the close of the cycle of the year, all nature passes through the disagreeable conditions of rain, mud, frost, and snow. As a result of the storms of the closing cycles of the year, so do nations and humanity as a whole have to pass through similar conditions of stress and strain at the close of their respective seasons or cycles. This is due both to planetary and to national causes. Through their cyclic revolutions, the planets periodically tend to return to their former relations to each other, and therefore tend to subject this Earth and its humanity to conditions similar to those which obtained in previous ages, when the planets formed the same combinations and relations with each other and with the Earth. This is mind-blowing because in astrology, the astrologers have been talking about us going back to the same planetary alignments, especially in America, during 1776. Also, the planetary alignments now, Aries in Neptune, that's a big one. And there's a lot of other conjunctions and things that haven't taken place for a long time that are now here. This is a year of change. We are seeing the upticks of natural disasters and the earth just purging, as we all are as well. So this book has been written a very long time ago, and my goodness, it's hitting on the nail in the head about what's going on now. Please check out my YouTube channel, Allykat211, for the full reading of this chapter. The Curtis books are an amazing collection of books that are really spot on with a lot of their just getting it out, the information, the truth of what they were seeing. Truth is at a perspective and an interpretation of your reality. Might not be yours, but I know for me, it's mine. So, sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, light the path forward, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you for your love, your light, your abundance, your healing, and your gratitude. Bye for now, guys. Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I hope everybody's having a blessed day. The voice of Isis. This paragraph I'm reading right now on my channel, and I would love to read it for you. After the middle of the third race, a dual evolution begins. Spiritual beings called Solar Fathers or Pitris, who had reached their highest state on previous world chains, consciously descended to earth and breathed into the human animal forms the breath of life. As recorded in Genesis, that which is called the breath was something with which animal man was then endowed, a power and a capacity added to the mere animal consciousness he possessed before. For it was the breath of divine life, a human soul, a spiritual overshadowing. This same teaching is represented in Genesis by Adam of the first chapter being created by but a sexless animal. The culmination and last of animal creation, the Adam of the second chapter, first being created a bisexual animal, then being endowed with a human soul. This Adam, the third early race, was created before the animals, and each animal was brought to him to be named. Later on, this Adam evolved out of his bisexual state into that of the separate sexes, Adam and Eve. Then the sons of God, semi-divine beings, saw the daughters of men and the evolved human animal forms, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose, and begot the future sub-races. The union of the sons of God with the daughters of men added to the elements in humanity air, water, earth. A new element, fire, or intellect. Fire is a sacred and higher element which only comes to earth as the gift of the gods to man, and man alone of all creation can control it and use it unafraid. But only the highest of the human forms were ready. Hence comparatively few received the divine incarnation, while many received the spark of self-consciousness, and still more received but an overshadowing of the semi-divine beings who in future stages of evolution were ultimately to become the fathers in heaven. Some projected a spark, some deferred till the fourth. Those who entered became arhats. Those who received but a spark remained destitute of higher knowledge. The third remained mindless. This stanza contains in itself the whole key to the mysteries of evil, the so-called fallen angels, and the many problems that have puzzled the brains of the philosophers from the time that the memory of man began. It solves the secret of the subsequent inequities of intellectual capacity, of birth, and social position, and gives a logical explanation of the incomprehensible karmic course throughout the eons which followed. These differences were not the result of injustice, but were due to the inequities of animal organisms, just as we find today in a field of wheat, all of which were planted at the same time, with the same seed and the same soil, varying degrees of perfection, some ripe for the harvest, others unripe, others not yet begun to head out. The great law shows no partiality. All will reach their perfection in due season, and we're in this right now. There's many of us who are the way showers, the ones that woke up first and woke up to the inner self, the higher self, the many emanations that our fractals are inhabiting right now, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, the time dilations, all this amazing information many of us have up. And there's many people now rising up. The shoots of the flower are coming. Many are on budding. Many are just budding. Many are just coming up as a shoot. We're all in different stages, but we all need each other right now, because if it's all up to us in a unity sense to shift, we need to first understand the beginnings and understand the process in which our soul took to be here. So this is a very profound chapter about man's origins. They are very big in Blavatsky and some others. So please go check out my channel, Allykat211 on YouTube. This is where you can get the full reading of this chapter and the book, because I'm doing it by chapters. We're on chapter 17. So until the next one, guys, sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, see your truths, light the path forward, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody. I'm reading The Inner Radiance, Spiritual Cooperation, and this is a must listen. At this period of manifestation, or the Aquarian Age, into which humanity is now entering, the most important question confronting all classes and all nations, in one way or another, is that of cooperation. In a vague way, this is spoken of as the one thing most essential to bring peace out of discord and to harmonize the many divergent views of life and the seemingly conflicting interests of classes and nations, yet without unselfishness and spiritual enlightenment. Each tends to hold tenacity to his own idea of what cooperation means. Each is assured in his own mind that if all the rest of mankind would cooperate with his pet theory, all would be well. Hence, the difficulty of securing practical cooperation even among those who are striving for it. I'm going to skip around here. Because cooperation is a fundamental principle underlying the whole manifested universe. When its principles are widely understood and practiced, it will manifest peace, harmony, prosperity, and plenty in its predestined and God-ordained manner among men. Just as it does among the planets of the solar system, among the organs of the body, and among the parts of the growing tree or plant. Let us realize then that the present idealistic and disorganized expression of thought and interaction among men and nations is abnormal. And it is but a passing phase of adjustment preparatory to ushering in the new era, just as storms and disagreeable conditions mark the transition from winter to spring. This new era will mark the next step in the increased unfoldment of the minds and hearts of all of mankind. For by passing through the stress and strain of coming world conditions and learning their lessons, we may the more quickly develop the innate possibilities which in the majority of mankind are now like seeds deeply buried in the soil of the earthly or physical consciousness. Although with the great majority of this development may require considerable time, just as deeply buried seed must be left alone for a long time, ere it can unfold according to the inner pattern of that which it is destined to become. Yet this new era, we're here, will see an ever-increasing overshadowing of all devoted hearts and enlightened minds by the divine wisdom received through the spiritual faculties. I can't wait to read the rest of this. I'm at the first stages of reading this on my channel. Please go visit me, Allykat211.com. 211 on YouTube.com is my website. I'm tired. But I've been talking about this on my channel, on my spiritual soul advices, how we all need to come into unity, and no matter what side you choose, light, dark, blue, red, good, evil, we all have to somewhat come together and unify in wanting different. To get different, you do different. And when you change, the shaming, blaming, and judgment on other people and do the inner work and stop looking outside of yourself for the answers, because all the answers are inside, and stop absorbing everything that you hear, because not everything is meant for you. Understand we all need to come into unity in order to get to 5D. Unconsciously, consciously, subconsciously, you need to harmonize and balance yourself. So does the world, and so does Gaia. So I can't wait to read the rest of this. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you for your support, your love, your light. Light the path forward. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I'm completely unhinged today. I'm reading The Voice of Isis. It's all about the serpents. And this is a fantastic chapter, and I'm going to read you a little portion of it. The infant race at its onset was confronted by the initiator Saturn, the serpent, who was commissioned to impart as a crowning gift the creative power which humanity only then was prepared to receive. The so-called temptation was but a test of man's ability either to use or abuse this divine gift. Ever since that time, man and women individually have had to meet the same test. Man, created in the image of God and endowed with the God power of creativeness, must prove his ability to use the power wisely, or through its abuse, learn the lessons and gain through suffering the experience that physical existence as separated sexes alone can teach. The power was given him, not as a temptation, but as a step in evolution through which he must pass in perfect purity. Just as in this day, a teacher who gives out a new advanced truth is condemned for the evil resulting from its misuse, or Saturn, Satan, has had to bear the responsibility arising from the failure of man to use the creative power in purity and holiness. Man has chosen to become as gods, knowing the evil through the misuse of power. But the cycle closes, must become as gods to know the good. And here we are right now. The culmination of his degradation was reached by the Atlanteans, who not only used this force for animal gratification, but also perverted it to accomplish their horrible practices of black magic. It was for this sin that the continent of Atlantis and most of its inhabitants were destroyed. While sinking of Atlantis destroyed much of the dangerous knowledge of how to pervert this force into black magic or evil, yet enough remained to perpetuate evil and misery on earth and make a hell out of what was given to man to be his paradise. The whole experience, including the sin and suffering which the perversion of force has created, is an initiation not only for the race but also for the planet, which when successfully passed will make the planet the completion of the octave of the system and the beginning of a new and greater system. And here we are. We're here. We're moving on up to the fourth and fifth side of the D, of the dimensional space. But if you take the components of the allegory that is the serpent is evil and this is evil, you're separating yourself from source. It's a test. It's to learn. It's to walk and gain wisdom. And if you're not walking and gaining wisdom through your life experiences, which has a contrast of good and evil, you're going to be perpetually in the stalemate zone. If you come to neutrality and raise yourself high and see both sides playing out,
You get to choose what side you're going to be on, team this or team that, but that's still separation. When you see everything is composed of all of it, you become Peter Pan and integrate your shadow within yourself. And that's where a lot of us need to start instilling this wisdom. And I read the rest of the chapter on my channel, Allykat211 on YouTube. So check me out there. Completely unhinged, as today's a full moon in Scorpio. So I hope everybody has a blessed and beautiful day. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, light the path forward, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I'm reading the Inner Radiance. This chapter is about the zodiac and man, and this really struck me as something that I can share with you guys. The higher self thus radiates throughout its circle of manifestation the divine qualities and attributes received from the spiritual sun to the best of its ability, according to the development and purity of man's bodies and the clarity of his reflecting power. Therefore, man's circumference, or his sphere of influence, contains, at least potentially, all the godlike power, beauty, and holiness of his divine or higher self, as well as a possibility of perfection which inheres in the divine dot, of which he is an emanation, although more or less distorted by his density, lack of response to the inner light, and his imperfections as a reflector of that light. But with all his imperfections, man is and must be to some degree a reflector of the universal God consciousness, shining through the limitations of the human personality, even though the light he radiates may be clouded by much that is crude and imperfect. Yet standing as he does as the chosen avenue of the divine light, he must ultimately know as he is known and radiate even as he is the result of the radiation of divine light. Although he may have to pass through much sorrow and self-created suffering, much destruction, labor, and rebuilding, he learns to profit by his mistakes. It is precisely because man thus inherently possesses the attributes of the divine, focused in his 7 sacred centers, that he is called the microcosm of the macrocosm, or a cosmos in miniature, an epitome of the universe, a sentient microcosm pulsating in silent harmony with the more stupendous macrocosm. There is so much more to this chapter. I am reading it right now on my channel, Allykat211 on YouTube. Go check me out, subscribe, and get the full reading of this chapter. These books that the Curtises do are absolutely mind-blowing. They're amazing, and it's like reaction videos, but with books. So I hope to see you over there, and thank you for watching. Please go within. Be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, light the path forward, and have a blessed and beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody. This is Allison from Allykat Creations. How are you? I'm reading The Voice of Isis, Chapter 19. It's about the act of that right there in the physical sense. But they have made a statement here that I say and claim on my channel constantly. And that's Allykat211 on YouTube. You have to go and align with not just your heart. Your heart is like the core of your soul. But your gut and your third eye and your intuition and your soul. And this right here is priceless. It's gold. This brings us to one of our fundamental teachings, which we repeat and emphasize here. Namely, no matter what the apparent source of any teaching, And no matter how beautiful the language used, do not accept it unless it meets the test of purity. And common sense does not violate the moral code and is confirmed by the intuition of your soul. Hi, I'm getting passionate. It is only common sense to demand that teachings which profess a higher standard of purity than that of the world must at least include what the experience of the world holds as essential. And let's just say right now, we live in duality, we live in polarity. And it's a very confusing world out there. Words are used to manipulate you, to look over here, and all this is going on over here. It's distractions. There's spelling, cursing, spelling as in a curse, as in a spell, not just spelling. You could, there's a million TikToks and YouTube videos on such subjects about language. But at the heart of it all is what you're listening to. What is someone teaching you? Does it land here? And is it for you and your soul? Because everybody perceives reality differently. You create your reality. Therefore, there's similarities within other people's perceptions and what they see. But out of your own two eyes, that's a unique, and only you can see it. So you have to go into your soul to know what is right for you, what is true for you, and what aligns with you. Not because there's a bandwagon of people that tell you to go over here. That's CNN syndrome. You got to do because everybody else is doing it. We got to get away from that, and it happens every day, and it happens in a lot of different movements. Just because someone said something doesn't mean it's for you personally. Go within. Stand in your empowerment. Know what your soul wants. And if you don't know, you got to do some inner work to get there. But this was fantastic in a different context. But this was amazing. And I'm glad that I read it today. You can find the full reading of this chapter that deals with a lot with that topic on my YouTube channel, Allykat211. Please check it out because their books are fantastic. The Curtis books are amazing. And I highly suggest you guys reading up on stuff that's been written in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it's ringing super, super true for me, at least in my heart space, true for the now moment. So, sending all of you light, love, strength, peace, harmoniousness, protection, energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, see your truths, and light your path forward. Until the next one, guys. Bye for now.